Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ. I was glad when they said to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. And I'm Father Steve Sellers, and this right here is Dot. Not quite sure about that this morning. I hope you're in a good place today and that you're able, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, that you're able to feel the presence of the Lord with you. God is our ultimate source of completion in our lives, and we do find our wholeness and our meaning and our purpose in life in Him. You know, I was thinking early this morning about one of my parishioners, 20 or so years ago, who was one of the most brilliant people I've ever known. He was a medical doctor. He was a scientist. He had done several internships in psychiatry. He was a brilliant man. And we were talking once about someone who had restless leg syndrome. And you know, you probably know people who have uncontrolled twitching sometimes in their legs. My late younger brother had that all the time, and that came from playing the drums, drum sets, and both of his feet were always in motion. Even when he was asleep sometimes. But we were talking, and he said, you know, there is something called the restless heart syndrome that he said is very similar to the restless leg syndrome. But the restless heart syndrome is when we're never content with anything. And we may strive for new things in our lives, hoping to find completion or wholeness or meaning or purpose, but they never last, those new things. And he was telling me that, you know, people search for eternal things in a world that's not eternal. We're in a transitory world where things pass away. And to seek eternity in the midst of transitory things leads to a permanent state of being discontent. And we've all known people, and I've been there, you know, where you think that the very next thing that you try, the very next class you take, the very next job you take, the very next house you get, the very next boat you get, or the very next motorcycle you get, or whatever it is, the very next thing will be the one thing that will bring you total satisfaction and completeness. And my friend the doctor said that just never works that way. And he quoted to me, and I'm quoting in my mind today, the great St. Augustine's from his Confessions, saying, our hearts are restless, O Lord, until they find their rest in you. We find the shalom, the peace. We find the completion and the wholeness in the Lord. And when we are connected with Him, and He's already connected to us, but when we complete that connection in our lives by making our relationship with Him the central point of our lives, then we do find the ability to rest in the midst of craziness, to find peace in the midst of chaos, to find wholeness in the completion, in the presence of things that are falling apart. And just know that He's with you and that He loves you. In our gospel reading at Mass today, in Matthew 11, Jesus says, come unto me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for my burden is easy and my yoke is light, and you will find rest for your souls. We find our completion and our contentedness and our wholeness and purpose and meaning in the Lord. And remember, He's right there with you today. And I was thinking of the African-American spiritual land of rest, also called Jerusalem, my happy home. This dates back actually to the 16th century. Have a blessed day today, and God willing, Dot and I will see you here again tomorrow. God bless you.